5 things we learned from the game against West Ham United. 1. The Gunners are peaking at the right time. One of the accusations labelled against Arsenal as a reason for failure of winning the title last year is that we peaked way too early and fizzled out by the end of March. Last season we were playing at a very high tempo, almost blowing teams away at times. This strategy was fantastic to watch, but ultimately led to a burnout of players during the business end of the campaign. This season, Arteta has adopted a more controlled approach, which has been criticized for being boring and not too productive in front of goal. There's an old saying in football that attack wins you matches and defense wins you titles, and this is exactly what Mikel is trying to instill in his young Gunners. They would have been disappointed at falling short of the title last season, but they also would have learned a whole lot of lessons on how to pace yourself during the season to ensure that you don't fade away too prematurely. Arsenal have been ruthless since the winter break. They have almost found a second wind, and more importantly, they have found their scoring touch again. The Gunners have netted a whopping 16 goals in 4 matches and only conceded 2 in the process. This is the time of the year where most title winners hit form, and if this is the case for Arsenal too, we are in for an exciting 3-horse race to the finish line of the Premier League season. 2. Take a bow, Nikola Jova. When Arteta took the job at Arsenal, one of the first names on his list of potential coaches was Nikola Jova, the little-known set-piece coach he worked with under Pep Guardiola at Man City. At the time, a set-piece coach was not a priority for many Arsenal fans, but once again Mikel has proven that he is way ahead of many of us in terms of seeing the bigger picture. Jova has made Arsenal a threat in set plays, something you wouldn't associate with many Arsenal teams of the last decade. This has proved to be a very potent weapon, especially in tight games where chances are hard to come by. Arsenal have scored 16 goals from set plays this season alone, which has earned us many points from situations which may have had a different outcome. His tactics though have not only contributed in scoring goals, but also in defending set pieces. Before his arrival, the Gunners were incredibly shaky at defending set plays with the likes of Mustafi, David Luiz and Socrates, but currently we look very resolute and very assured when defending from set plays. It also helps having a quality goalkeeper who commands his box. 3. Declan Rice has the last laugh. Check this, 2 London rivals, a tense business deal in the summer, 2 fierce encounters already played this season, Arsenal's title aspirations hanging in the balance. The London Olympic Stadium was the stage for the conclusion of this season's so-called Declan Rice derby. You would think if you played for a club loyally for most of your career and even won them their first ever European title, I mind making this said club a whopping £105 million in the process, they would at least show their appreciation by showing you a little respect. Once again, the West Ham fans showed how classless they were when they were booing Declan Rice's every touch. He dominated the midfield that was said to be better than him. He contributed with 2 assists and scored a worldie with his final touch of the game. He showed so much class when he refused to celebrate this amazing goal. A lot of West Ham fans can learn a thing or two about humility from Declan Rice. It was a fantastic way to stamp his authority on a London derby and remind the Hammers how good he actually is. 4. Mr. Consistent, Saka. Bukayo Saka netted his 50th and 51st goal against the Hammers on Sunday. Add to that 53 assists and 210 appearances for the club the size of Arsenal. All this at the tender age of 22. Starboy Saka has had an amazing career so far, filled with a lot of highs and certainly a lot of lows as well. I mean, who could forget his unfortunate penalty miss for England, which was subsequently followed by an overwhelming amount of unwarranted abuse from his own home fans. 19-year-olds would crumble under such circumstances, and rightfully so. No human being should ever be subjected to such abuse, let alone a teenager who only wanted to play football for his country at the highest stage. Nevertheless, Bukayo Saka picked himself up and never looked back. Easily the Ghana's most influential player in the last 4 years. He's also managed to make himself a mainstay of the Three Lions setup, the first name on the team sheet for both club and country. 100+ goal contributions in 210 games would be great numbers for any forward player. But considering that Saka started his career at Arsenal playing predominantly at left fullback, he may deserve even more credit than he has received. Ever since he tweeted this in 2020, he has gone up a few levels and has become Arsenal's main man. 5. Did we miss the boat on Mohammed Kudus? West Ham United have had an up and down season so far, to say the least. But in the midst of all the dark clouds, there has been one consistent shining light: Mohammed Kudus. The Ghanaian arrived in the summer after being linked with pretty much every big European team, including Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal and Napoli, to mention a few. Ultimately, it was West Ham who managed to sign the former Ajax starman. He has since netted an impressive 13 goals playing mostly in wide position, and has also chipped in with 3 assists in all competition. He's explosive, rapid, powerful and a clinical finisher in front of goal. He can provide adequate cover for all of the front 4 attacking positions. With performances like this, one cannot help but wonder if Arsenal would have been better served signing Kudus instead of Kai Havertz. The German has had an indifferent start to life at Arsenal. Long-term, Havertz may very well prove to be a better signing, but on current form, Kudus looks like he could be the real deal.